BeakerBeat.
It's Monday, October 17th, 2011, and this week's BeakerBeat, drug makers are under attack from Washington once again. Find out what's at stake this time around. Plus, the national unemployment rate remains high, but the life sciences industry is hiring. Hear it from the horse's mouth as we talk to industry CEOs about adding talent even during this weak economy. And a modern-day miracle provided by the life sciences industry. All that and more in this week's edition of BeakerBeat, brought to you by Life Technologies. To learn more about Life Technologies, visit their company webpage on Beaker.com.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the change of seasons from summer to fall, as we are. Here's this week's top story.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Leadership in Washington is trying to save money, and once again the life sciences industry has a target on its back. Senator Herb Kohl, no, not that Herb. Yeah, that's right, that's the one. Anyway, he's offered up a bill that would cut U.S. drug spending by billions of dollars over the next decade. The 6 new policies he proposes are nothing earth-shattering. It's all been discussed by lawmakers, industry, and media before. But now they're in black and white and with cost-saving estimates attached. So, let the debates and lobbying begin. The biggest spending cut would come from applying Medicaid rebates to Medicare Part B drugs, which include doctor-administered injectables and some oral cancer meds. Kohl's staff figures that would save between $36 and $44 billion over 10 years. Another measure would give the CMS license to negotiate Part B prices when Uncle Sam is the product's primary purchaser, taking that price-setting power away from drug makers. And in a move that will anger doctors too, it would cut the 6% payment on Part B drugs, which Kohl figures physicians use to dole out more expensive drugs. This plan isn't as bad as the one Representative Henry Waxman proposed last summer, which predicted $112 billion in government savings over a decade. For that proposal, Pharma commissioned a study of the potential pharma spending cuts and found the discounts could cut industry revenue by $20 billion annually. That, in turn, could cost as many as 260,000 jobs, according to the report. The drugs are a familiar spending target. Lawmakers have proposed rebates on drugs for dual eligibles repeatedly over the past couple of years. We'll have to wait and see if this proposal will survive or die on the vine.
So tell us what you think about this story or any story that you see in today's show. Very simple. Click on the orange button below me. A box will pop up. Type in your comments, send it to me. I promise I'll read and respond to every one of them.
And when you're done watching BeakerBeat, check out Beaker's blog and see FDA Commissioner Margaret Hamburg's newly unveiled blueprint to incite the life sciences industry to innovate, like we need any help. Plus, the Cleveland Clinic takes a look at some of the top state-of-the-art medical technologies just over the horizon. Those stories and more on Beaker's blog. As you know, Beaker recently attended and participated in the world's leading medical technology and diagnostics conference, AdvaMed 2011, the MedTech Conference. We had the unique opportunity to interview several CEOs, and here's what they had to say about jobs and adding talent to their respective companies.
I will tell you that we continue to grow in the U.S., but we're growing exponentially in Asia and Latin America. We just, in the next 3 years, we'll be hiring over 1,100 sales reps and plus all kinds of different engineering specialties in Singapore, in India, as well as in China, as we continue to grow our research and development centers in the U.S. Covidien is one of largest medical technology companies, but we still, I would say, not quite there in investment of research and development, so our growth will continue, our investment will continue to be fueled into research and development amongst other areas of the company.
And in the last year we've added about 4 jobs. Part of our plan for sort of the current 18-month period, of which we're about a third of the way through, is to maybe increase that to 10, 11, which for a small company for us now, that would double our size over that sort of period, more than double our size, which is significant. It's a long way short of what we think is possible in the long run, but we've got to do what we can do out of cash flow as we generate it elsewhere and invest back into the States. The quicker we grow, the more jobs we can create.
We continue to add people. We continue to invest in manufacturing. We've added 2 production lines, just this year. The thing I always talk about, in our company and in all the companies that are part of the medical device industry, these are very, very good jobs. We've added over 150 jobs just in Colorado this year, and these are all very good, strong, high-paying jobs. So it's not just the fact that we're adding jobs, it's the types of jobs that we're adding, whether it's in science, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in manufacturing. So again, our industry, we're in a very fortunate situation that in order to continue to grow, we have to invest, we have to hire, and these are good, strong paying jobs, and we're a great example of that in the state of Colorado.
Well, we invested in a lot of talent in 2011. We hired 11 people, and for us, that's a lot. We started the year at about 65 people. We ended the year at 76 people. So mostly in R&D. and out in the field, in field support and sales support.
We've got a great team of nerds, but we need to hire a lot more quality folks, and we're building production. So we anticipate hiring at least 5, potentially 10 people next year. And by 2013, we'll be close to $20 million in revenue and 35 employees.
Check back again next week for more insight from our CEO interviews at AdvaMed 2011.
Time for quick hits now, and lots of action to pass on from pharma and the medical device industries.
The FDA says it will issue 6 new guidances before the year ends as it seeks to remain on top of the 25 items listed on its plan of action for implementation of 510K and science recommendations. The FDA aims to focus on clinical data objectives for the 510K program and put the de novo process back on schedule. California-based prenatal diagnostic testing company Sequenom plans to open an operation in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, and hire up to 242 workers over the next 4 years. The firm will receive up to $2.3 million in state tax incentives if it meets job hiring commitments. Faced with sluggish sales, Dendreon plans to expand consumer advertising, hoping patients will boost demand for its prostate cancer treatment Provenge. The company also added sales reps with urology experience to focus urologists' attention on Provenge and to educate them about a couple of the features that have been cited as obstacles. Sales of the personalized therapy have been slow for a few reasons, including the drug's $93,000 price tag and short treatment span, which forces doctors to front the cost until payers send their checks in. The FDA and the CMS have launched a parallel review pilot program for concurrent review of medical devices for FDA approval and Medicare coverage. The FDA and CMS, which began accepting applications last week, issued procedures for voluntary participation and guiding principles that the agencies will follow during product review. Both agencies rely on clinical data in reaching their decisions, and while the two agencies have distinctly different regulatory responsibilities, parallel review can reduce time between FDA approval and Medicare national coverage determinations. A group of researchers will use a $2.5 million federal grant to study the ethical and legal implications of providing genetic research results to the relatives of people who donated samples to biobanks. They'll study what families prefer, analyze the legal and ethical issues, and propose recommendations for best practices policies. Merit Medical Systems will build a 118,000 square foot research and manufacturing facility in Pearland, Texas. The facility will employ about 220 workers.
Checking money matters now, and lots of money changing hands within the life sciences business this week.
German pharma giant Bayer is going to Russia with love and lots of money. Bayer is getting $860 million from economic development officials and is partnering with a Russian company called Unona Holdings to develop and produce therapeutics in Russia. This is the latest sign that Russia intends to play host to new biotech programs and wants foreign companies to partner up and produce drugs within its borders. Thermo Fisher Scientific has beefed up its financial reporting structure by forming a new specialty diagnostics division. The move is intended to reflect the company's recent buyout of Phadia, a diagnostics company in Sweden. Bayer and Onyx Pharma have kissed and made up. The two companies resolved a long-standing dispute over the rights to a Nexavar follow-up drug. Bayer will pay $160 million plus royalties and give co-marketing rights to Onyx in return for control of the new drug's development and commercialization. Their partnership on Nexavar is mostly unchanged.
Finally this week, a story that we think you'll enjoy as much as we did.
Talk with anyone who works in the life sciences industry and they'll share the rewards of a career that helps others through medical technology. It's the common thread among those in biotechnology, devices, drugs, or diagnostics. Our work moves forward the progress of human health. And every now and then, we get reminded of just how special that reward can be.
So now technically your device is on. Can you tell? Oh, that's exciting! Here, you can put it down for a second. Just get used to the sound. What does it sound like? Do you want to grab some tissue? Oh, Mommy, you're meant to cry. Can you hear me?
Kudos to the team at Envoy Medical in St. Paul, Minnesota, manufacturers of the Esteem implant, who helped Sarah hear her own voice for the very first time.
Well, that's it for this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Sit, Beaker. Sit. Good dog.